Lurking behind the ivy at Wrigley Field is a dangerous threat.
Oh, a sensational catch.
One that could even be fatal. For over 100 years, this catastrophic design flaw has claimed many victims, leaving them with bruises, serious injuries, broken ribs, and could someday lead to much, much worse. Is this really a disaster waiting to happen? What can be done to solve this perilous problem? Why has the team and MLB intentionally ignored it? Is Wrigley Field really a death trap? Lying in the outfield at the iconic Wrigley Field is a solid brick wall that at its peak height stands an imposing 15 feet tall. Though mandated by MLB and every other ballpark, padding is absent over this unforgiving structure of solid clay, mortar, and plant life. Multiple players have collided with the wall during play, some resulting in serious injury. Why is this allowed when the fix seems so simple? Wrigley Field was opened in 1914 and was originally named Weigman Park. It was hastily constructed in 2 months and from then on underwent constant construction. The stadium was more of an accidental success. There was never a cohesive plan here until major renovations happened in the 20s, with an upper deck being added, and then the pivotal 30s, where the danger was born. In 1937, the iconic brick wall was built along with the bleachers and the outfield. Legendary baseball executive Bill Veeck, who I could do an entire video on alone, decided the brick wall needed some decoration, so he planted ivy imported from Japan, commonly known as Boston ivy. And no, it's not poisonous, it's actually soft and leafy. The ivy quickly spread and took over, giving the brick wall the classic, irreplaceable look you see today, and hiding the secret danger behind it. To understand the very real danger this brick wall poses, let's get a little lesson in physics. Obviously, running into a brick wall isn't a good idea. See, there's your lesson. A grown man running at full speed can top over 20 miles an hour, and running into a stationary object is going to cause serious medical damage. Luckily, in that clip, the wall gave. Obviously, brick doesn't. Former MLB player Pete Reiser suffered 5 skull fractures and at least 7 concussions from colliding with unpadded concrete outfield walls throughout his career. Numerous players have been hospitalized with bone fractures, head injuries, and even damage to internal organs. To say that the threat of running into the outfield wall at Wrigley Field is not possibly deadly is actually absurd. A full-speed collision could puncture a rib and lead to fatal internal bleeding, cause enough brain damage to make you a Mets fan, and end a lot more than a player's career. Because of Pete Reiser, padding for outfield walls began surfacing in 1943 and is now mandatory in every professional baseball field, from the minors to MLB, except, Wrigley Field. We'll get to why in a little bit. Look, players can still get injured running into already padded walls, but the safety benefits are immense and they help mitigate serious injuries. Wrigley Field has a history of terrible injuries from their unpadded walls, like this one in 1989 when Eric Davis collided with the wall and severely injured his ribs, or recently in 2024 when a seemingly innocuous collision by Cody Bellinger caused him to leave the game. Junior Lake in 2014 had probably the worst luck ever, not only sliding into the wall but hitting the unpadded steel door in the right center gap. Lake left the game, but was ultimately okay. Okay, so we understand the very real danger that the unpadded outfield wall poses. But are they gonna freaking do something about it? Let's get into that right after a quick word from our sponsor, Rocket Money. It seems like everything is expensive these days. Even worse, they are getting more and more expensive without even telling you. Yeah, price hikes on subscriptions are freaking dirty. Thankfully, I have a way for you and me to stop all of this madness. That's why I use Rocket Money, an all-in-one finance platform that helps us save more and spend less. With Rocket Money, you can manage subscriptions, lower bills, monitor your credit score, and build your savings, all in one place. I love that it can find and cancel unwanted subscriptions. That alone is worth it. I hate canceling things. Where's the dang cancellation button? Well, no more searching. Rocket Money does all the hard work for you. I also love how I can set budgets and stick to them. I get notifications of expenses and large transactions, and it helps visualize my spend to earn ratio. And rest easy that I am not being scammed. So after this video, head on over to rocketmoney.com/5pointsvids to try it out today and unlock more features with premium. Join the over 5 million members and get started for free. Again, that's rocketmoney.com/5pointsvids from the link below to start getting your finances in order today. Now back to the video. Of course, the easiest solution would be simply to get rid of the ivy and pad the wall right over the brick, but that is not gonna happen. All of us would be damned before 80 years of greenery and growth are taken down for some sissy padding. The second solution is one you're probably thinking of: putting padding behind the ivy, which announcer Michael Kay suggested doing during a live broadcast in 2024.
I'm just amazed that the Players Union allows it. I mean, it's a disaster waiting to happen. Why not take the ivy down, put padding behind it, and then let the ivy grow over the padding?
When asked if he thought that was possible, he said he didn't know.
Can ivy grow over the padding?
I don't know. It's not getting any nutrition from the brick.
Well, I know because of what happened in 2015. Remember how I said Wrigley Field never really had a plan? Well, it finally got one in 2014 as part of Project 1060, an enormous engineering and architectural project that sought to fix many of Wrigley Field's quirky problems that had accumulated over an entire century. Red tape aside from historical groups and the nearby neighborhood, Wrigley Field got new video boards, widened concourses, new clubhouses, and renovated outfield bleachers. As part of this project, the brick wall behind all that beautiful ivy had to be restored, as it was literally falling apart. The wall, not the ivy. The engineers didn't know if this project would kill the ivy, but it had to be done. So in the dead of the Chicago winter, they carefully laid down the ivy and literally removed, cleaned, and replaced each brick in the wall, section by section, until the entire wall was completely rebuilt and restored. The ivy was placed back up, and though it struggled a bit initially to grow back, it did, as you can see in some shots from the 2015 season, where the ivy wasn't as full as it normally was. Wrigley and the Cubs had their glow up, culminating in a 2016 World Series win that many in the free world thought we would never see happen. So why the freak didn't they put padding behind the ivy when they had the chance? Well, again, there was a little uncertainty about regrowth, but surely they could groove the padding to look like brick behind the ivy and it would be fine. But that's not the reason. Was it cost? Nope. That's not the reason. Laziness? Nope. The real reason they didn't put padding up is that the brick wall and the ivy are registered as National Historic Landmarks. So why on earth would the Cubs spend all that time painstakingly refurbishing and replacing each brick just to cover it up with padding? In a way, almost legally, they can't put up the padding at all. It's a combination of history, tradition, and holding on to the past that literally puts athletes in perceived peril. However, players are expected to understand the danger that the brick wall possesses and use the warning track literally, to warn them of the wall. And honestly, they're in as much danger running into a padded wall as they are with solid brick, just a little bit more. So the silent killer of Wrigley Field lays in waiting, ignored, and sometimes even forgotten. Until one day, after a player slams into the wall and breaks 3 ribs, we all gather around and say, why didn't you do something about it? Let's hope that doesn't happen.